Our next speaker, for over 20 years, Rosemary Griebel has worked right here at the Calgary Public Library, an organization she continues to be passionate about. Currently, she's the Special Projects Librarian, a position that allows her to work on projects as varied as the new Central Library building and the library's 2012 centennial celebration. Rosemary is also a writer and has a book called Yes coming out with Frontenac Press in 2011. Welcome, Rosemary Griebel.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Here we go. So Plato was right. Ideas rule the world, and that's why we're here tonight. I want to talk about one big idea that has had a profound impact on this city. To begin my story, we're going to go back to 1906. Not unlike now, Calgary at that time was a booming center. It was full of high energy, great promise, and lots of ideas. In this sort of rootin' frontier town, there were also a lot of people who liked the printed word. If you scratched the surface of the town, you would find, and I should mention this was a town of about 12,000 people. You would find 4 bookstores, 5 newspapers, and a number of private libraries. The Herald had one of them. So into this scene, comes one woman. Her name's Annie Davidson. She's almost 70 years old. She's widowed. She's lost 6 of her 10 kids. But for some reason, she had the big idea of a great public library in Calgary. So she gathered up a group of women and went door to door to have voters sign a petition for a library. At that time, voters were men. The reason she did this was because there was a man in the States by the name of Andrew Carnegie who also had a big idea. He said libraries were the cradle of democracy, and if a town supported the idea of a library, he'd help with the money. Annie got the petition together. The city was backing her. She sent a letter off to Carnegie, and $80,000 came from the Carnegie Foundation. So a library was underway. In 2011, the first librarian in Alberta, at this point there were no public libraries in Alberta, Calhoun came to Calgary. And he said to open a library in this frontier town is an incredible creative test. Well, it's a creative test that has really withstood the test of time. Memorial Park Library was opened on January 2nd, 1912, and it quickly became known as Calgary's center of culture. Calhoun had the vision to include all kinds of culture. It had a great collection of books, but also a natural history museum, and he put together the city's first big collection of art based on paintings in private homes. Also, he said that the library is the people's university, a nucleus for the pursuit of truth and ideas. So true to this vision, he hosted at the library the first Calgary College classes, and this was the beginning of the University of Calgary. And there are some of the graduates from early classes. During the Depression, the People's University received unprecedented use, as the library does now, particularly in the States with the recession. So transients, hobos, families came to the library to keep warm and to read. And the library was so busy that Calgarians were only allowed to borrow 1 book at a time. So the library changed, started taking materials out to schools, to penitentiaries, to hospitals, and we started having bookmobiles and going out to this city that just continued to sprawl. We were changing. Then it was decided Memorial Park Library was no longer big enough, so a central library, where you're sitting right now, was opened in 1963. Well, actually, this part was opened in 1974, but the other side was opened in 1963. So over almost a century, we've seen the great idea of the public library evolve and change in concert with a growing and very dynamic city. Who knows where it'll be in the next century? Currently, we have 17 public libraries, soon to be 18 when the Saddletown Library opens, which it will. And one of the biggest changes in libraries, of course, has been the advent of technology. Certainly, it's reshaping the way we transmit and share ideas, information, and books. Downloadable books are just, it's going wild, which is great. Although some things have changed, some things have remained the same, like the concept of the library as a center of culture. And this is an image from Crowfoot Library this fall as part of Arts Day. But, you know, there's some people who say, in the age of Google, in the age of the internet, do you really need a library? Well, I understand how format can be confused with function. But to me, it's like saying, we don't need family dinners because the plates are changing. Doesn't really make sense. People, I believe, still want to be together at a table, sharing ideas. They want a public place where the community can come together and access worlds of knowledge and culture and interact with each other. And this is the Living Library. We have a program where you check out people. It could be you, Richard, our great artist, and you get to sit down and find out what's going on in their head and discover cultures, different ways of thinking. I also believe the library will continue to foster, for the next century, a love of words, reading, and curiosity among all ages. Although saying that, I have to say, in the future, it's hard to predict how the magic of words, ideas, creativity will be communicated and shared. But that's part of the exciting thought about the future. So I have no doubt that Annie's one big idea, a great Calgary Public Library, will continue to flourish. For we use the library, that great house of ideas, to find words and rhythms to soothe babies, to discover what happened years ago, what will happen in the future, and most of all, to discover dreams, shake up our beliefs, and to conceive of that one next great idea. Thank you very much.